In Chicago, you know that all sports rock. The Bears, Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, and Sox. Pick your favorite, you can choose. As long as the Packers lose. For everything you need to know, it's Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. This is your hosts, Alex and Sean. On this episode, we're going to be talking about game 2 of the preseason for the Chicago Bears and how those camp battles are shaping up, talking Cubs and White Sox, baseball, and more. But first, I'd like to thank our sponsor, the Rockford Ice Hogs. If you're not familiar with the Rockford Ice Hogs, they're the AHL minor league affiliate of the Chicago Blackhawks. What does that mean for you? You could see the stars of tomorrow today at family-friendly, affordable prices. Season is starting soon, so make sure you head on over to icehogs.com. Get yourself a hat, shirt, jersey, tickets, and more. Tell them Swerski Sports sent you. Alex, my friend, how are we doing on this beautiful Sunday?
Doing good, doing real good. It's been a fun weekend. You could probably hear the cicadas outside my window right now. It is the pure sound of August, and it was nice having a weekend when there was no rain or storm. So, yeah, man, I'm doing good.
Yeah, it's great. That's all you can ask for. Um, so you want to start with the Bears?
Yeah, yeah, and not a pretty preseason game, that's for sure.
Yeah. So there wasn't very many images or videos coming out of the joint practices. So the next two games they have joint practices with the teams they're playing. So you have this week was the Cincinnati Bengals, who last year were a team that a lot of people picked as a Super Bowl contender, and they ended up with injuries to Joe Burrow and some defensive injuries. They weren't very good, and this year they've improved the defense. They've improved that offensive line. Joe Burrow is healthy, and teams are expecting a lot from them. And teams are expecting a lot of the Bears. Bears go into this practice, and from what we hear, a lot of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like at times Caleb Williams and that offense were able to move the ball at ease. And then some of the things that we've always been worried about is pre-snap penalties and pressure from the offensive line.
Yeah, and you mentioned one key thing right there that we saw in the game itself. Well, really, both of them are pretty key, I would say. But the pre-snap penalties, bad, 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 bad in this game. We saw it, and this came after a week where they had like what, two total against the Browns. They had two
Yeah.
total flags, and this week it was quite the opposite. And what did we see on the first drive? The drive that Caleb Williams did play on. You saw them move the ball. They got into Bengals territory, and momentum kind of slipped after the Braxton Jones penalty. How many times have we seen promising Bears drives stall because of a bad penalty?
I mean, that was a huge thing last year because they they were learning a new offense and they just had a lot of difficulty overcoming penalties. And it's the same thing here. And we read about it during the joint practice that penalties stalled drives, and we were told that Ben Johnson playing time for the starters would be dependent on how things looked in how the reps looked in the joint practices and in other practices. And the fact that the starters played in this game tells me that he is not happy with where they're at.
No, no. I mean, you could hear. I don't know. Did you listen to the post game presser, or did you see any
Oh,
clips of the post game
he's
presser?
unhappy.
Yeah, that's putting it lightly. You could see how pissed off he is, and we're talking about a preseason game here. But, just going back to the penalties, you know what I found really frustrating about the Braxton Jones penalty? That was a hold on a run to the other side. So, like, when you see something like that happen, it just really annoys the crap out of you. And I think kind of expanding on that, I think it's fair to say that the left side as a whole had a real trouble that game.
Yeah, I mean, I was very worried when we thought Ozzy Trapillo would be out most of, if not all season. And then we're like, okay, they bring in Braxton Jones. All right, let's see how this goes. And then he gets injured. And Karan Amagaji and Jedrick Wills don't look good.
No.
And they, for some reason, moved Theo Benedict over to the right side, which I think is because he's the swing tackle. And so they're seeing who's going to be the left tackle. He's going to be the backup no matter which side.
Right.
Um,
But he didn't look great either.
no, no. I mean, he looked meh on pass protection, but the run blocking was sus, um, as the kids would say.
Hmm.
Uh, and like if you look at the PFF grades, he was 60, 66. Oh, I'm sorry. Bass run block, he was 66.6. So he was above average on run blocking, 50.4, below average on pass blocking. But you look at Braxton Jones, and overall, he was slightly above average. If you look at Braxton Jones, he was abysmal at pass blocking,
Hmm.
and he was below average on run blocking, and he was abysmal overall.
Yeah. And again,
Um,
put the penalties on top of that, and it's
yep.
just, it's not good.
No, now I'm starting to get worried because I know they took Ozzy Trapillo off the pup list, but now it's like, well, how long before he plays? Is he
Right.
going to be on the 53 man or is he going to be put on injured reserve and where he misses the first at least 4 games? And in the meantime, what happens? Because so far I am unhappy with the results. And I think if Ozzy Trapillo is not ready to play, you've got to start Theo Benedict.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, and I was giving Braxton Jones, I mean, you can listen to the previous episodes of the show. I was giving Braxton Jones a lot of benefit of the doubt, and so far in preseason, we're not seeing that benefit of the doubt realized. And look, like you said, we don't know right now exactly when Ozzy Trapillo is going to be ready. And I also think, too, I want to add this as well, that people have brought up and asked about Taylor Decker because he is still a free agent, but I don't think he's coming through that door, right? I mean, if Ozzy Trapillo was still like out for the year, I think there's a much stronger chance that they would take a chance on Taylor Decker. But if Ozzy Trapillo is on the horizon, I don't really see it happening. Unless there's another injury or something else happens, or I'm just completely off base here, is I think until Ozzy Trapillo comes back, you're going to have to find a way to scheme and work with what you have.
Yeah, yeah, unless Ozzy Trapillo has a bad setback and he's done for the year, there's 0% chance they're bringing in Taylor Decker.
Because it's funny, he's still out there.
Oh yeah,
Taylor Decker is
yep,
still out there.
yeah, and we'll see what happens then. Um, I mean, somebody's gonna pick him up.
Oh, sure. Sure.
I just, I don't know who, and it's gonna be somebody, where he steps into a starting role.
Yeah, and I do think it's going to come down to, end of preseason, where are the injuries, what final roster moves are being made, and, if there's an opening where a team says, hey, our left tackle is out, we need somebody to come in, then that's when they're going to sign him to the 1 year deal. Now, what I think for the Bears, from their perspective, is if you're looking at who you would rather start right now, like you said, you would probably lean towards Theo Benedict, right? Before
Yes,
Ozzy Trapello comes back.
yes.
Probably, I just, I, again, I was much more bullish on Braxton Jones even last week, but this last performance really put me down because it's not like they were throwing their entire defensive line at you.
Um, I mean, It's this we're seeing the same things from Braxton Jones that we've seen forever. If you bull rush him, he's done. Period. So it's not getting fixed. That's just who he is, and you're gonna have to live with that. I think, um, if you are, uh, if you are trying to run the ball more, Theo Benedette is a much better run blocker, and you know Ben Johnson let it slip that Joe Tooney wants to know who's going to be next to him, and I think that's a fair ask.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you're seeing it in a lot of battles in not just Bears camp, but everywhere. I mean, I think the most prominent one is Cleveland with who is their quarterback. Teams have to shit or get off the pot. It's one thing letting people battle it out. If you're going to be a bad team, who cares? But if you're a team that literally is trying to win games, shit or get off the pot because you got to give whoever wins the reps. You know who your left tackle is going to be, or you've got to make a decision and live with it and give them the reps. Let that offensive line gel. I thought Braxton Jones would be the best option, but he's just not.
And we're not seeing it.
We're not seeing it. It's just not seeing it. Karan Amagaji, it looks like a bust. Jedrick Wills doesn't look healthy. I know he missed all of last year with an injury. He just doesn't look healthy.
No.
Because, I mean, he is a giant, big, strong man and just not moving right. And that's not good. I don't think he makes this roster. I don't think either one of them makes the roster, to be honest with you. I'm not saying Ozzie Trapillo is, in prime Eric Armstead or, something like that. But that the last 6 games of last year, he played really well.
Mm-hmm. He was impressive, yes.
And, he started off the year not so great, and he didn't win that competition to start. So it sucks that he lost the offseason, and we don't know when he's going to be ready to play. I know they said there were no physical restrictions, but I don't know if he's practicing other than individual drills. I don't know if he's gone in pads against other players yet.
Right.
But I'm not impressed over there, and I think they just got to make a decision and you've got another scrimmage against the Titans this coming week, and then you've got a game against the Titans. And I think whoever it is, you've got to make a decision and let them get the practice in against the scrimmage and get a couple series in there against the Titans in a regular game, and let them get all the first team reps going forward. I think that's what you've got to do. So if they don't name a starter before this scrimmage, then Ben Johnson needs to answer some questions, because there's not going to be some miracle that happens. You've got to walk in. Even if they signed Taylor Decker right now, is he ready to come in and just start playing? Probably not. You've got to ramp him up.
No, he wouldn't just snap a finger and be right there. I mean, I know he's working out and staying in shape and everything, but
he doesn't know the playbook. He
right.
doesn't, he hasn't had a padded practice in, how long?
Right. I mean, there's a difference between staying in shape and participating in full football activities. A big difference. And sure, he might be familiar with Ben Johnson considering he played with him in Detroit, but still, I mean, he's creating his own playbook for the Bears. It's a different quarterback, so it's not going to be the same copy and paste playbook that he played with in Detroit.
Right. Yep. Different quarterback, different playbook. I mean, it's
different
still Ben
line
Johnson,
mates.
but yeah, different line mates. So I think it's Benedette until Ozzie Trapillo's ready. And I think you just got to pull that trigger let him go. And I know, I mean, this is what's happening in my brain. What I'm suspecting is they really want Braxton Jones to just miraculously be better so that they can have Theo Bennett as the swing tackle and then plug Ozzy Trapillo in when he's ready. And if they put in Theo Bennett, then Braxton Jones is the swing tackle. And I don't think they love that because if there's an injury to Darnell Wright, God forbid, uh, you you're gonna throw Theo Bennett onto the um you're gonna throw Theo Bennett onto the right side and then put Braxton Jones on the left side, and you're making two switches for one injury.
Right. Yeah, oh, you don't want that.
No, you definitely don't.
Oh, no, no, no. You do not want that.
So I, somebody's got to win, and they've got to pull that trigger. And it's frustrating.
Yeah, and Ben Johnson is more frustrated than anybody. I mean, again, we talked about it. You heard the post game presser. He's not happy about it.
No,
I mean, he's not happy about a lot of things, obviously. But you know what? I do think that we can look at on the offensive line that's, we're okay with most of the other spots, and at least it's not a huge battle on all of the positions or majority of the positions. It is the left side. Now, the left side is Caleb's blind side, so obviously it is a big deal. But I mean, the only other battle we're looking at really is the center position. And I would guess Bradbury's going to get, because we did see Logan Jones come into the game.
I don't think it's much of a battle. I think it's Garrett Bradbury.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I think I think it's a pretty much a given. And it's going to be Bradbury in there. And Bradbury looks fine, other than some snap issues between the two. But that's just, you're gonna still a young quarterback and a new center. You're gonna have, some issues. You should work those out and hope they are cleared up by the time games start. But he's smart. He knows the playbook. He call. I mean, at this point, you know, last year you needed your center to call the blitzes out and help direct the blocking schemes, and because you had a second year quarterback, first year in a system, and still learning the stuff, is one thing you can say is Caleb Williams' command of this offense is night and day difference from this point last year. And he's starting to make a lot more of those calls. And by the time it's Logan Jones's job to win, whether that's sometime this season or if it's next season, it's going to be Caleb Williams' show. He's making all the calls.
Right.
You don't need to rely on a center to help you out.
Yeah, no, that's true. And I mean, you could probably argue that when they got Bradbury in the trade, like that was the plan. Like that was the guy, regardless of who they were going to draft or not. Logan Jones was always going to be the long-term solution. Bradbury was going to be the short-term solution. So yeah, I mean, you're probably right. There's not going to be much of a battle, but I do think that Ben Johnson is obviously seeking him out. He's said publicly that nobody has a given spot. Everybody's got to earn it. But, as long as Bradbury is doing what he's supposed to do, then that probably is his spot. So you're right there. But I am glad that we were able to see both centers play yesterday. Because, obviously you had the opening drive with a lot of the starters in there, but Logan Jones came in after that. But at least, that's a battle you're not too worried about. And the other spots, you have lockdown with Joe Tooney, you have lockdown with Darnell Wright. So you feel pretty solid there. Speaking of Caleb Williams, I feel like what we watched yesterday, just going into fully on Caleb Williams, you saw the rhythm was there. Like he had a rhythm and command of the offense. Now, you had the penalty that set them back. And then you had the throw that just wasn't quite there to Colson Loveland. That would have been a touchdown if that was a little lower. I think maybe the timing was off. There was a little bit of disruption when Caleb threw that ball. And then the one incompletion to Rome, it looked like he was interfered with and they didn't call, but I think maybe there was a little bit of timing off there too as well. And I do think that, maybe Rome was playing a little bit too much for the flag, but I do definitely think there was some interference there that wasn't called.
Yeah, I mean, I not enough for me to be like, oh, this is bullshit, blah blah blah. Um, but I agree with you. And the throw to Colston that missed, they asked Ben about it, and he's like, it's not where I would have gone with it. And here's the thing: when you have Caleb Williams as your quarterback, it's a lot different than when you had Jared Goff. Jared Goff is going to dump off underneath way more. He's going to do the safe throws way more. He's not going to push the field nearly as much. Caleb is. Caleb it has that because he's special. Now I'm not this is not a knock on Jared Goff. At the end of their careers, Caleb Williams is going to be significantly better than Jared Goff, and that is not a knock on Jared Goff. It's
Jared Goff's a very different quarterback.
Yeah, it's just a much different quarterback. And Ben, he wants Caleb to play a little bit more like Jared. And I think at some point you need him to do it a little bit. You see Case Keenum plays the way that Ben wants him to play, but Case can't hit those deep throws that stretch those crazy plays. The
Well,
ones that
Case Keenum's not going to bootleg like Caleb Williams
but he's
can.
not going to hit those throws that wind up, you go through your Instagram feed and you're like, oh my God, reliving this amazing moments by Caleb Williams. Like you're not going to get that from Case Keenum, but he's going to keep moving the ball. And I think sometimes you just need Caleb to dial it down a half notch,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't coach it out of him the specialness. And I think that throw to Colston Loveland, sure, that's not the throw you would want Jared Goff to make. That's not the throw you'd want Case Keenum to throw or Tyson Bagent. But Caleb can hit that throw. He just missed it.
I mean, if that was a few inches lower, that's a touchdown.
Yeah, and
That's in the end zone.
That's not where they wanted him to go. But he can make that throw.
Right.
He just slightly missed it, and you live and learn from that. And Ben's just got to be able to coach and understand that Caleb is not going to be the guy it's really hard to get to that 70% completion percentage if you're not dumping off a lot.
Right, exactly.
I mean, for all of the amazing things that Patrick Mahomes does, look how often he dumps it off underneath. A lot. There's a lot of underneath throws or short throws that they scheme guys open and you get Travis Kelce open for 17 yards, but it was a 4-yard throw. Like it's a lot of that. And he takes it. He absolutely takes it. Caleb doesn't always. He's trying to throw those mid-range to deep throws. And he's good at them. He's
And
very
we
good
did
at 'em.
see him take a dump off in the game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's for the sake of the offense. I think he's got to dial it down a little bit and learn that picking up the first down on an easier throw might sometimes is better than taking that deep attempt.
Sure. No, you're right. You're absolutely right.
But I'm not worried about Caleb. I'm not worried. Look how this offense looks without Luther Burden. And with backup left tackles, the offense I'm not particularly worried about. You haven't had your either starting running back in, You're playing with backup running backs that probably, if all things go right, will have a combined 5 or less carries this season. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, Roshan Johnson had a few solid runs, but you know he's not going to be a primary part of this offense.
I want to talk about the running backs because, all right, so Kyle Monangai got injured in practice. Thanks, Grady Jarrett, by the way.
Yeah, really.
Um, Grady Jarrett hit him when it was not supposed to be a contact drill and hyperextended his knee. So he's week to week. Fingers crossed he's ready for week one, but who knows? And we really haven't seen much of DeAndre Swift. Um, so it's been the backup running backs trying to win a spot. And I'll be honest, I don't know if any of them have won the spot, but I feels like Roshan playing himself out of a spot.
I don't think we've seen enough. I mean, you didn't really see much in the first game. Yesterday, he had a few decent ones, but even though that was kind of a product of what his line was doing to help him move across, there wasn't anything to me that said, "Oh, look at Roshan Johnson. Look at that big play." That's something they got to keep an eye on. He was just kind of playing the role and wasn't really
He
lighting the world on fire.
as as a running back, he is at best pedestrian.
Right.
And the thing is he's been a very good special teamer, and that's where his job is.
Right.
You look at Ahmed, and you're like, okay, you you he has shown more flashes as a runner and as a receiver, but uh, play special teams. And I know the Bears' new running back coach liked him and wanted him for his time in Miami. But if he can't play special teams, it's going to be Roshan Johnson's job because he's been a good special teamer.
Roshan Johnson, he's kind of like what Blackwell is on the defense. He's a pedestrian defender, but he's really good at the special teams.
Pretty much, yeah. And if you're relying on them to play the position that they actually are signed, you're not going to love it. But if everything goes well and they're just playing special teams, you're very happy. Last year, it turned out very good because Roshan Johnson played just special teams, minimally played because Swift and Monangai were healthy. So I don't know. I don't know where they go. I just think Roshan Johnson has been very pedestrian as a position player. And Ahmed a, a has been okay as a position player, and I just don't know what he looks like on special teams.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, I mean nothing about either Ahmed or Roshan Johnson have me overly hyped up. And I think you can win a game on the ground without Kyle Monangai, but you don't want multiple games without Kyle Monangai. I mean, you can scheme, you can do things, but in the long haul of a season, you want Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Wide receivers. I, I mean, we keep talking about it. Is the depth on this team is kind of ridiculous. That tells you. Just think about a few years ago when the Bears just had before they brought in Allen Robinson. The depth of the offense of the wide receivers was abysmal. The
Cam
starters were
Meredith, wide
abysmal.
receiver one, you mean?
It was a bit like your starters were abysmal, let alone the depth. And
Cam Meredith, Inman, Eddie Royal. Oh yeah, I remember those
yeah,
days.
Inman was your best wide receiver. He was a
Yeah,
castaway from another team. But you look at here and you're like, okay, if they carry 6 wide receivers, which is a big if, uh, I have a feeling they might consider only 5. You're looking at Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, and you're gonna keep um uh oh my goodness, they're the kick returner, Khalif Raymond. And so you've got two spots, and you drafted Thomas, so you're probably going to keep him a spot. So that leaves one spot left. And you're looking at Alexander, who had a nice game, JP Richardson, who had a nice game, Jade Walker, who you saw play last year and did
Had
well.
that great catch.
Um, Scotty Miller came up with some nice catches. Uh, and Caden Davis, who really didn't do much of this game, but was a standout in week one and has done some great things in training camp, etc. So you're like, man, like who gets that spot? It's, I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
I mean, if I were to think of the two favorites, if they do indeed go to six wide receivers, I mean, I feel like for me, it would be between Scotty Miller and Jade Walker. I mean, I really do think Ben Johnson likes Jade Walker. You brought in Scotty Miller. He's obviously played at a high level. He's won a Super Bowl. So, you have that veteran experience that might get him a leg up. I mean, JP Richardson, he feels like a practice squad depth guy to me.
I think
He's had his,
so. I agree.
so.
Maurice Alexander is the one that he's been last season and this season really good in the preseason.
Hmm.
You're like, okay, can he put this together in the regular season? Um, and I like Jade. I like him a lot. I think he's a good player, and um, I think he's going to fit in well here. And it's not too big for him because you saw him against the Packers, and
Yep.
um, so I Caden Davis is a guy that I do like. I think he's like a younger Scotty Miller, and I don't know if he if he lasts on a practice squad. I think somebody might snatch him up. So I just I don't know. I don't know. I I hope that either Miller or Davis, one of the two, makes it. I think they fill a need that you have on this team as like that safety valve wide receiver that's scrappy and can get open, but still pretty fast. Um, I I hope one of those two makes it.
Yeah, I mean, I have a good feeling about Jade Walker, and maybe I'm overhyping because he had that huge moment against the Packers last year, but I think there's something there with Jade Walker. I really do, and I think Ben Johnson sees it too. And I mean, obviously, he didn't play much last year. You had a pretty crowded room because you were prioritizing, DJ Moore, Rome when he was healthy, Luther Burden. You had Devin Duvernay on there. So I think that him getting a real chance is a solid possibility this year.
Agreed. Agreed. Um, yeah. So the tight ends, uh, I I like the tight ends. I think they're good at tight end. I wonder if they're carry four tight ends. That's the big question: is do they carry four tight ends?
I mean, it kind of feels like it would make sense if they did, right? Knowing Ben Johnson, how he wants to run his offense. If you're gonna run 13 personnel out there, wouldn't you want to have four total on your roster? I mean, maybe they don't. I'm just thinking out loud here.
I mean, you've got Hayden Large, and you've
Of
got
course, his name is Hayden Large.
Stephen Carlson and Cadre Ismail. Or is it is that his dad? It's Ishmael. He's 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 related to all the Ishmaels that are very fast.
Ishmael.
Call me Ishmael. But they've got Ishmael too, who I've watched in practice, and he looks like he would fit in here. I don't know what his blocking looks like, but as a receiver, the practice I went to, I was like, oh, hey, this guy can play in here. So it's curious of I think they might carry four. I just don't know who that fourth one is going to be.
Yeah, right. Hey, we did see Sam Roush get some action yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
There's a reason they drafted him, so uh, I think it's exciting. I love the growing trend of the 13 personnel with the tight end. I just think that if you have the type of tight ends you have on this team, especially with Colson Loveland, who has a really special skill set, the ability to run a 13-man personnel, we got three tight ends out there. I just think that you have the potential to create a lot of mismatches, both in the run game and in the passing game.
I agree. And you can do so many things. And what I love is when you see the same look. And you saw that, when Caleb was in, that they ran from a formation, or they lined up in a formation, and you saw Caleb take the the hand or the exchange, and then he handed off out of the formation. And then you saw them in the same exact formation, and it looked like he was going to do the same thing and faked that and rolled out and then dumped it off for an easy connection for like 8, 9 yards. And it looked identical except for where he handed the ball off. And you're like, okay, that's going to be a problem, because if you fill in to stop the run, you're leaving guys open on the passing game. And they, you know, when in that Packer game, when Caleb threw that late interception, they had, if you go back and look, they had that whole Packers defense on roller skates, except for one guy. One guy, they got the interception, diagnosed it. Everybody else was fooled. The other 10 guys were fooled. And had it not been that guy, that would have been a touchdown pass. And you would have been talking differently about that game. It's when they do these plays, and the whole thing is you are causing havoc and chaos with that defense because they don't know where they're supposed to go. Are they filling in to try to stop the run? Are they rolling out to stop a receiver? And if they do, like, they have one where it looks like it could be a handoff, and it can be a handoff, but then it can also roll out and throw to the guy that's running the same direction as the quarterback. But then there's a tight end who crosses the other way as well, and he's going the opposite way of the quarterback and the defenders. So how do you stop that? It's, if you come up to stop the run, you're going to be, barring a terrible throw, you're going to be behind the guy that catches the ball. And if you don't commit there and you commit to the guy that's going out that's rolling out the same way as the quarterback, that tight end that's crossing over and going the opposite direction, he's open. So it creates a lot of chaos of what they can do. And you add in the fact that you put in 3 tight ends, then that creates a real personnel mismatch, because what do? You put your nickel cornerback on Cole Kmet? All right, good luck. Not big enough. You're just inviting an easy throw and completion, because they can't, without a penalty, they can't even get around the guy. It's got to be a bad throw or it's going to be a completion. And you look at Colston Loveland, and he's so big, but he's so fast. Like, who covers him? You're not going to put a linebacker on him, that's for sure. That's a bad mismatch. And what are you putting a safety on him? Safety's too small. Cornerback's too small. All their tight ends can block. So, all right, you put those smaller guys in, cool. watch that run. Watch that run. You are just going to get manhandled in the run game. And if you put in the linebackers in there to try to stop the run, all right, they're going to pass out of it. It's mismatch heaven, and you're already seeing mismatches just with your standard formation, and you add in that 13 personnel. I think you're going to see good things. I'm not
Hmm.
worried about this offense other than penalties. Penalties are the one thing that just I lose my mind about, both
Yeah,
pre-snap and holdings.
those they just can't happen. There's no excuse for those. There just isn't.
Absolutely. That's the whole thing. And that's another part of that left tackle discussion because that's you're seeing penalties over there because they're just guys that are not good and they're getting beat.
Right.
Um, I want to talk about the defense a little bit.
Bleh. Ugh.
I'm gonna give a one positive.
Okay.
They look a whole lot better at stopping the run.
Yes, they do. That is the one area I think they've legitimately improved on this year.
Uh, I don't know how that's going to translate in the season, but so far we've seen good things at stopping the run. The statistics, the eyeball test tells you that. The statistics tell you that they're much, much better at stopping the run. Still not getting there on the quarterback. I mean, we saw more pressure, but um, the backup quarterback from the Bengals was just too mobile, which is weird because he's an older guy. Um, but they were getting a little bit of pressure. But man, the defensive backs were brutal.
Oh, and they were awful. I mean, the one guy Manning was getting roasted all game. He's been on the practice squad, I think, the past few years, but he was getting absolutely roasted. And, what did we see early in the game? They couldn't get off the field on third down
Yep,
repeatedly.
yep. And Malik or so Muhammad, he's an outside corner. I watched him play in college. I watched a lot of film. I think he's going to be all right, and I think he might even compete for a starting spot at some point on the outside. But they're trying to have him fill that gap of Kyler Gordon, and he's just not. He's not a slot corner. Takes it takes a different guy, and Kyler Gordon is that guy. He's a really fucking good slot corner. Just he's brittle as can be, and they're trying to make Muhammad into that slot corner, and it has been trial by fire, and it has not been very good. Now you see the skill he has when the instincts are able to kick in, when it's coming in to fill in on a run play, looks good. The speed, I mean, when he's able to just lock in, the speed is good. But man, any sort of rub play or misdirection, he's just getting lost. And at that slot position, the minute there's an inch of gap, you got a completion.
Well,
And
those
he's
corner routes were killing them.
yeah, so that's frustrating. And this, like, I think Jalen Johnson is back. I will say that we saw that is Jamar Chase talked about getting locked down in the joint practices,
Yes, that was good to
and
hear.
I think he's back. But I don't know what else is back there. Uh, I don't love it, and
No, I don't either.
I think it starts right off the bat with the minute you don't have Kyler Gordon, it puts all of them in with their backs against the wall, and I have no idea when or if we'll see them this year.
No, I know. And it's not like they lack speed. You see the speed on the defense, but they're not covering their guys. They're getting burned on routes. They're getting open.
Yeah, I'm
Speed
I'm
doesn't
just
do any good if you can't effectively cover the guy.
yeah, I'm not very happy about that. Um, you know, it's 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 not a good time. Blackwell is not a good cornerback. Manning is
No.
not a good cornerback. Um, so it's uh we need to see massive improvement there if we're going to be a decent defense. Like I said, is if we all the starters are healthy, and I know Kobe Bryant is going to miss almost the entire season, but like I think Xavier Woods is all right and can hold his own. And we're seeing Thieneman get better. We see how fast he is. If Kyler Gordon comes back and is able to play soon, and Tyreek Stevenson is healthy and Jalen Johnson's healthy, and they're stopping the run, I think the pass rush will be okay. Not good by any stretch, but not abysmal. I think it'll be okay because uh, the corners are going to help the pressure. It won't be the other way around. It won't be the pressure helping the corners. It's going to be the corners helping the pressure. You're going to see a little bit of I'm not going to say coverage sacks, but somewhere on that spectrum.
I just I cringe. You remember when they basically brought the house and they still completed it
Yes.
early in the game? I
Yep.
just ugh. And
And that was
again, I know
I believe that
preseason it's
I
not
believe
everybody,
that was
but
Muhammad. I believe that was Muhammad. That doesn't happen with Kyler Gordon. A healthy
no.
Kyler Gordon.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, but you got to
And
have Kyler Gordon.
I think they are at their wits' end with Kyler Gordon.
I think they are too. I think Ben is insanely frustrated. Even Ryan Poles, you heard Ryan Poles' pressers when he's been asked on the subject. You could see the frustration in him. Ryan Poles is the one that drafted him and gave him all that money. So, yeah, I would imagine Ryan Poles is pretty unhappy about it.
I mean, the thing is he's worth the money when he's healthy. Like he's phenomenal.
He is, but he hasn't been on the field.
It's just not. And I
He missed
there's no
14 games last year.
and the most frustrating part is there's no timetable. It is
No.
just an unknown. Like it's one thing if you're like, hey, this is what we expect, and he's on pace, and he's on the track, and you're like, okay, uh, we know what to expect, but I don't think anybody knows, and you're like, okay, he's got that whole off season to get healthy, and he comes in and he's like, oh no, he's hurt, a different injury, and you're like, what the hell? Uh,
Yeah, remember the first Packer game in Green Bay? He was all set to go, and then he was scratched like 15 minutes before.
yeah, it's it's just it's just frustrating.
It is very
And
frustrating.
I don't know. I mean, there's tough decisions to be made. You could cut him. It's going to cost you a lot of money. Next season you can cut him with minimal issue, but there's a lot of dead money.
There's no way they're cutting him this year, right? There's no way.
I just I just don't know what you do here.
You have
Uh,
to get him healthy. He's got to rehab. That's all you can do.
and there was a quote that said that was talking by Brad Biggs. It said, um, "I'd say his chances of him being on the 53 for week one are fading by the day." And there's been people that have been taking that comment and run with they'll cut him. And I think that's a stretch.
No,
I,
no.
I don't think he's going to be on the 53 man because I think he's going to be injured.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, when you have no timetable and the season is a few weeks away, yeah, every passing moment you get more and more in doubt.
Yeah. I mean, we're less than a month away from the first the first regular season game. You've if he's not ready to play, then what are you going to do?
All right.
But very frustrating.
Yeah, it is. It is. He's too important to this team, and you're already down Kobe Bryant, one of your most important defensive backs, and you got your nickel out in him, and your nickel does a number of things, whether it's pass rush or coverage on things like slant routes. You want your speedy nickel to be able to keep up on those slant routes, especially in the NFC North when you have guys like Christian Watson that you're going to be facing, but right now you don't have him, and you don't know when you're going to have him. I'm worried about the defense as a whole. If you had a wrecker on the defensive line, opposite of Montez Sweat, you had an absolute wrecker, an in prime Khalil Mack or Aaron Donald type guy, I would feel a lot better because, as you know, good defensive line play, constantly getting pressure on a quarterback makes your secondary better. And you don't really have that. And you can get more of that pressure if your corner was healthy and Kyler Gordon, your nickel corner, but he's not. So, it's just like I said, I feel much better about stopping the run. Stopping the run is very important. You and I have preached this on the show millions of times. But if the passing game is going to cook you, then that's not ideal either. You might be able to manage the game a little better if you're able to stop the run, but you're still going to get burned if you can't stop the pass. So, score a lot of points. Score a lot of points and try to maximize what you can out of your defense to at least limit the damage. Do what you did on the first drive yesterday. You let them drive deep, but you did stall them. You held them to a field goal. So, I don't know. I'm a little worried about that as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, it's a mix of we didn't see a lot of good things last year, and we're not seeing healthy players or good things this year. And we're running out of real estate in the preseason for the things to get fixed. Um, so I know there's been one bright spot is Jordan Vandenberg.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention him.
He There's some plays where he over pursued, but man, the guy's a high motor guy, and he's going to get a lot of playing time this year.
He gets to the ball very quickly.
Yes, he does.
If you look at they had some of the all 22 on Twitter. They were sharing some of the clips of him, and you see that all 22 angle, and you see just how aggressive and quick he is to getting the ball. It's very impressive. And he was what, the 6th round pick?
Yeah.
So if you get good value out of a guy like him, you got to feel pretty solid there. And what did I allude to earlier? They did a decent job of bringing in speed on the defense, whether it's all effective or not, but they have speed on that defense, which is a nice asset to have. And you see the nimbleness of Jordan Vanderberg, and you got to like what you see, even in a preseason game.
Yeah, Jordan Vandenberg's PFF grade was 90.9.
That's pretty darn good.
Uh, Another player that played really well was undrafted free agent Skylar Thomas, the safety.
Hey, a takeaway.
Uh-huh. Um, so, there was some bright spots. Uh, I think it's gonna take a few weeks into the season before we see this defense turn it around. I think it's gonna take them a little bit of time uh for Dennis Allen to start calling it based on the players he has, some of the players to get up to speed where they are, and to figure out what it is they can do to stop some of those offenses from driving. Because I think you're going to have to use some Dennis Allen magic to make things better.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but overall, I think the interior defensive line played well. Would like to see more pass rush. Just really want to see more pass rush.
I've been begging for that for years.
Um, and just want to see those corners play better. And I don't know, but
Blech.
we'll see. We got another joint practice this week against the Tennessee Titans, and then a game next week, and then um, final cut down time.
Yep. And here are my main goals for this next week. This is the joint practice, and this is the last preseason game. Number one, figure out the left tackle. Number two, see if you could get any sort of update on Kyler Gordon. I doubt we'll get it, but I would like that. Number three, stay healthy. No injuries, please.
The nice thing is there were some guys that we didn't hear about that we knew were injured, and they ended up playing. Like Xavier Woods, that was a little
Mhm.
concerning. Ruben Hippolyte. There was a few guys where you're like, uh-oh. And then they're back. They're the one injury that's I don't think it's concerning as far as, the Bears 53 man roster, but it's a real bummer is Nephai Sewell. Um,
How many Sewells are there?
I think there are three brothers in the NFL.
I just it feels like there's an endless supply of Sewells.
The Bears have three Sewells, but only two of them are related.
Okay, they're not all related. Okay.
No, no, the other one that got injured, he's not related. Okay, so there's four Sewell brothers that have played professional football. Only three in the NFL. So Panay, the good one, uh, Noah Sewell, who the Bears drafted, Nephai Sewell, who they brought in from the practice squad, and then Gabriel Sewell, who played in the UFL for the Houston Roughnecks. So three linebackers and an offensive lineman.
The Houston Roughnecks.
Yes.
Love that name.
And they are cousins with Puka Nacua.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Anywho, you were saying,
Yeah, so Nephai Sewell got injured and they had to cart him off, which
yeah.
is uh not a good time, and that's got to be shitty for the family who was there to see both brothers and
Hmm.
his brother being right there. It's that's crappy.
Well, speaking of brother battle too, you had the battle of the brother coaches in that game as well.
Yes. I did you see her before the game how like the dad had like the trophy for the brothers
Yes.
that just seems kind of messed up, to be honest with you.
It's goofy.
Like how much hostility was in that household, like, you know it reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where uh Marge is like, telling the kids, you know it doesn't matter, just play, have fun, and then Homer's like, compete for my love, kids, compete for my love. It gave off that vibe, didn't it?
It kind of did. It kind of
Like,
did.
I don't know, maybe it was a healthy relationship, and it's the way I'm taking it, and they were kind of having fun with it, but it was giving off Homer going compete for my love vibes.
Yeah, I mean, do I think it's goofy? Yes. Is it probably harmless? Yes, of course. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing there, but it was an interesting nugget that I didn't really think about, and then they showed it in the before the game started in the pregame. I'm like, oh yeah, the two are brothers. ROC and their head coach. They're pretty similar in age. Like they're not far off age-wise, I don't think.
I think it's a couple years.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard to top the Harbaugh Bowl in 2012, but that was fun.
um yeah.
How weird do you think it was for Mama and Papa Harbaugh both your sons are competing against each other as head coaches in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
Like one of your kids is gonna lose and one of them's gonna win.
I'm sure their mom agonized about this. I think their dad was like, compete for my love.
Whichever one of you boys wins is gonna get my love. That didn't mean to sound creepy.
Yeah, I
That
mean,
came out very
it
creepy.
it was, uh I think that was hyper competitive, and that's the household they grew up in, just hyper competitive. And I don't know if it was compete for my love, but it's I expect you both to go out there and
Give
throw
a
everything
thousand
you got,
percent.
and I'm gonna celebrate with the winner, and I'm not gonna, somebody's got to lose, and they've got to deal with being a loser.
And I mean, here's the thing. I don't think the Giants are going to be in the Super Bowl anytime soon, but there is a possibility someday that you could get a second Harbaugh Bowl with two different teams. Like what if the Giants and the Chargers played each other in the Super Bowl and you had Harbaugh Bowl 2.0? What would the odds of that be? How, like, imagine looking back and saying two brothers, head coaches, meet each other in the Super Bowl twice, both coaching different teams.
I mean, that would be crazy.
It would
I don't know
be.
if it's gonna happen, but anything's possible.
Sure. That would mean that the Giants get there with Matt Nagy.
I was watching a video, and it was Le'Veon Bell talking on a podcast, long after he's been retired, and he's like the stupidest coach I've ever had to deal with was who was the Jets coach? Adam Gase. He's like, Adam Gase was the stupidest play caller I've ever dealt with in my entire career. That guy was so predictable. And he's like, you knew what he was going to do. And then I remember it was one game we were going to play, and it was supposed to be pouring rain, and we practiced all week with wet ball drills. And he came up to me, he goes, we're gonna pass 40 times in this game because they're not going to be expecting it.
Hmm.
And he's like, and then somebody commented on the video, it was on YouTube, and they commented, and they were like, the stats from that game is the Jets were playing the Bengals, who were 0-11 at that point, and the Bengals dominated the Jets. The Jets threw 48 times.
Jeez.
I'm like, oh my God. Like, it's wild, like how some of these people become head coaches.
Well,
Like,
I remember Adam Gase had a solid year as the OC with the Bears.
he did.
But yeah, as the head coach in New York, that was
Well, do you
bad.
remember that opening press
I
conference where he
do.
with the googly eyes?
I do. Very strange vibe. I remember that very well. Yes.
Like, what the heck is going on?
Now you have Matt Nagy with the PTSD acronym.
Oh my God. Did you watch Justin Fields play at all with the Chiefs?
I saw some clips. I saw the one clip of him taking a sack when there were like multiple guys open and he didn't hit them. He didn't even try. Like he didn't see them. Took like a huge, huge loss. I just saw some clips. I didn't see the whole
Yeah, that's
thing.
all I saw too. And I was just like, man, I feel bad. That guy has regressed.
Yeah. Mahomes
Uh,
should be ready, right? I mean, he'll be
I mean, I think,
covering from that knee injury.
I think that's their hope because they're in trouble if they're relying on Justin Fields.
Yeah. If you're gonna rely on Justin Fields, you're just gonna have to call a lot of dump offs and screenplays and
Or
runs.
or you do what Bill Belichick did when he got Cam Newton. And he was just like, oh, I literally don't care a thing about Cam Newton and his body. And I'm just going to. Do you remember that season with the Patriots? And they just had Cam Newton just running everywhere.
Yep, yep.
Like that could be a situation. They're like, we don't even give a slight shit about Justin Fields' body, and we are going to have him run.
Yep.
That's a possibility too.
Yeah, I remember that Cam Newton. Yeah, that stint in New England.
Um, yeah, that was a it was a wild season.
Yep.
Uh, but we saw the second half play calling by the tight end coach on the offense and by Al Harris on the defense. And I think Al Harris did a good job. I think Al Harris is going to be a defensive coordinator next year somewhere,
Yeah, I
which
and
stinks. I
he's going to be a DC, and then Antoine Randall L is absolutely going to be an OC.
Yeah, he did a great job as an offensive coordinator. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
absolutely great.
Ben Johnson was nothing but complimentary to him after that too.
I love that Ben is giving opportunities to guys. I think he wants to create a tree. I think he wants like his people to bloom and grow.
The Ben Johnson tree. He's just aggravatingly watering the seed as it starts to grow.
Did you see the picture from uh Ryan Pohl's office where he has a Ben Johnson action
I
figure on his?
did. I did.
I love it. I love it. He's got a Ben Johnson action figure.
Just
Uh,
right, and there's no coincidence that was right in sight of that press conference. Like, oh, yep, I'm gonna put that right on my shelf, right there to see. Hilarious.
uh, but I'm ready to see some improved play this coming week. And honestly, I'll this was this was the first time we've seen the Bears lose a preseason game in a long time.
Yeah, they've been the preseason gods for years, going back to
And
Matt Eberflus.
I'm not gonna lie, maybe this is good for them. Is Ben Johnson goes, nope, nope. I see bad things. I'm kicking all of your asses. And uh, no, there's gonna be no leniency.
Well, that's kind of the vibe he's giving off.
Good. That's the way it should be. It's the way
He's
it should be.
he's like the spitting Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park. When things don't go well, a big frill comes out, he hisses, and then he spits venom in your face.
Newman.
You just hear you just hear from the office. "Sit." Ah! It's like, oh, yep, Ben Johnson's pissed.
Ben Johnson pissed. Uh, all right. Should we move to baseball?
Shall we?
All right. Uh, this week hasn't been the most exciting one for the Cubs.
Started off exciting. The two crosstown games were down to the wire. And then yeah, they lost three in a row, and boy, those two Seattle losses were rough.
Seattle is not a good baseball team. They are
No.
playing terribly, and the for the Cubs to lose to them twice in a row sucks.
In such grueling fashion.
Like just shitty.
Yeah, I mean, because the one night, Friday night, you jump out to the 3-0 lead. PCA homers, Bregman homers, you're feeling great. Matthew Boyd doesn't pitch well again. And then you go 1 for 16 with runners in scoring position, and you get walked off by a bum. Even after more Alex Bregman heroics, that happened, and Ryan Zephyrhan has not looked good at all. He's been quite bad. And then
Yeah, we
obviously
paid a lot for him too.
we did. You paid a hefty price, and you know the stuff is there, but the execution has not been. It has not been. Uh, Now, unfortunately, and I'm glad I had a friend bonfire that night. I did not see the collapse in the ninth inning on Saturday night when you had two outs, nobody on, up 4-2. I mean, Jacob Webb has been so good. It felt like he was kind of due for a bad one, and that's what happened. But it didn't make it hurt any less. That was rough.
Yep. I I was listening to the radio and uh and I was like, all right, I can turn this off and go back to whatever else I was doing. And I went back to look at the other scores and I was like, what? What the hell happened here?
Yeah, I was at my friend's bonfire. I was checking my phone and I saw 4-2 going the ninth. I'm like, okay, Jacob Webb, he's got this. And then I get the ESPN notification, final Mariners 5, Cubs 4. And I'm like, what the flying hell happened? Yeah, Randy Arozarena just completely destroyed the Cubs this weekend, and that was uh that was a pretty shocking one to say the least.
Yep. Didn't love that. But going earlier in the week, the Crosstown Classic, I, I know White Sox fans are bummed that they lost the series, but that was a good series.
It was a great series. All three games were close. They were the first two were back and forth. You had some big hits and big moments. And I mean, when you look at the Crosstown series as a whole this regular season, four of the six games were close. Three of them ended in walk-offs. And I mean, it's pretty typical. It's pretty typical for these games to be close, no matter how good or bad anybody is. But considering that both teams are playing for the playoffs, the emotions and the electricity was elevated higher than it's been in a very, very long time. You kind of had two extremes. The first night, you had a huge fight in the bleachers. You saw that one dude in the gray shirt wailing on the other. But then in the second game, during the rain delay, you had everybody coming together and dancing in the rain, and that was fun.
Yeah. I mean, you thought the White Sox were winning game one, right?
Yes.
Uh, it was it felt I felt the defeat halfway through that game. It just felt like the White Sox were going to take that. And then that fifth inning, the Cubs take the lead, and you're like, okay, now there's life. I'm I'm feeling a whole lot better. And then Benintendi's home run just took that all away. Just took all of the air out of the sails. And I was like, son of a bitch.
And the Cubs left a lot of traffic on base. They could have really extended that lead.
Yeah, and um, but and you're like, okay, well, bottom of the ninth, here we go. And uh, Nico single sends it to extras, and then you get the PCA 30th home run of the season. Was huge. It was huge.
That was a big moment. I mean, that
And
was a defining moment for PCA's young career.
yeah, and I feel for the White Sox is they need pitching help. Just, I mean, arms. Like they
They've had to
uh
do multiple bullpen days, and that wears on you.
yeah. And that's absolutely wears on you. And the Hagen Smith spot in the rotation or in the when he came in the 10th, that shouldn't have been him. That shouldn't have been him. And um, it is what it is. And it sucks for the White Sox, and you wish they would have been able to add more pitching depth in the trade deadline to be able to bolster this team because they are really good. They are just a really fucking scrappy team.
Yes, perfect. I mean, they fight and claw. They get down. They fight back every time. It's
There's
very
no quit
true.
in this team.
No,
No
there's
quit.
not. None. None.
And you've got a lot of guys that are just playing really well. And we'll talk about that when we get more to the White Sox. But Uh, game two, another one where, you got out to an early jump with
PCA
the
homering
PCA
again.
and Michael Bush home runs. Back to back games were PCA home runs. Um, and you're like, okay, I'm feeling good. And then, you know, give up a run in the second, and then the Murakami home run in the third, and then, Tristan Peters hits a RBI double. You're like, okay, I'm not liking this. And uh and then it goes to the bottom of the ninth and another walk off with a Bregman single.
And Bregman has been so clutch lately. He's been who we've wanted to see.
It's about goddamn time.
Yes, yes, but he's come up clutch on a number of occasions this second half, which is great to see. And I mean, I want to go back real quick to the PCA home run. I mean, from a Cubs perspective, it was his first walk-off home run of his career. He's had multiple clutch hits, multiple walk-off home hits, but that was his first walk-off home run. And it was during a, nationally, because I think that game was also airing on some national stations too. And, it was on a big stage in a big emotional time where the two teams haven't been this good simultaneously this late in the season more than one or two times in our lifetime. So it was a huge moment for that. From a White Sox perspective, people are asking, why didn't you walk him? Why did you let him beat you? And I can understand that you have lefty righty versus Seiya Suzuki coming up. And as someone who loves Seiya Suzuki, like really big fan of Seiya Suzuki, uh, I don't always love him in some of those types of situations. So it felt like a little bit of a gift for the Cubs that they let PCA bat there. And, Hagen Smith's a young pitcher, and, it's a tough matchup, even if it's lefty on lefty. And that breaking ball hung, and Pete just destroyed it. It was an absolute laser. So I do think that there was some right to ask Will Venable what he was doing and why he was doing it. I think there were a lot of questions there.
Absolutely, there's questions. It's also you are, using that bullpen quite a bit. Bullpen starts, bullpen, you know, from when you are starting starters, uh, you know, it's it's just wear and tear. Guys, guys are going to eventually give out. I, you got a good pitching match today, but it's at a certain point, guys just need rest. And you're not really getting it because it's coming down to the final stretch of the season. You're what, 30 something games left in the season?
Yeah. It's like a month worth left of games.
Yeah. But game three of that series sucked for Cubs. Like, Urquidy just pitched. If a guy with a 5+ ERA came in and looked like Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, and it was during work. I saw the highlights later, and I give him credit. He pitched well. The Cubs just they had no plan, they didn't see the ball at all off Urquidy, and it really helped the White Sox save all those innings because he went 6 innings. And I forgot this too. Urquidy, they walked him off earlier in the season when he was on the Pirates. You remember that bases loaded double off the wall that Carson Kelly hit?
Yeah.
That was off him. And he really struggled with the Pirates, and then the Sox picked him up and gave him a really big outing there. They needed those innings, and yeah, I mean the Cubs had like what, 2 or 3 hits that day, if even that
Two.
many. Yeah.
Two.
Yeah, no, the bats just didn't show up. The White Sox pitched well, and the White Sox got the timely hits, and that was that.
Both hits were from Tyrone Taylor.
Yeah, how do you like that?
You'll never see that ever again. But you're like, okay, that feels good. It was a really tough series that we were genuinely worried about because the Cubs have a home run problem and the White Sox are a home run problem.
Right. Right.
And we saw them be able to score, the White Sox score runs. You're like, okay, and the Cubs were able to, caught them at a time where they were able to score runs against them for the most part. And honestly, I think I think there was even number of runs scored from both teams in that series. Uh,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, it was neck and neck.
11 runs, 11 runs. So,
Yep. Yep, neck and neck.
uh, and yeah, I mean, and it's that first game should have been a blowout. All those hits.
The it was a 14-2 ratio.
Yeah.
Or 14-4, sorry, 14-4.
Um,
A
but
lot of guys left on base, which
yeah,
didn't end up hurting them in the end, but sure as hell hurt them in that first game against Seattle.
uh, but yeah, the Seattle matchup that just really stunk.
Yeah.
You lose in 10 on Friday. You did have the meltdown on Saturday,
Hmm.
and today was not starting off really well. I was at the White Sox game, so I was trying to follow on my phone, and I was like, "What the hell? Are we going to get swept by Seattle?" They
All the
legit.
fans around you were like, who's this meatball puking all over the place?
I mean, it it was a weird like I went with like my friend and his family. He's a Mets fan. He's from New York. And his wife is a White Sox fan. And I wore Blackhawk stuff. I'm like, I'm not even gonna I watched fights all weekend or all earlier in the week. I'm just gonna wear neutral stuff. I'm not gonna be that weirdo that wears a like there was a guy in decked out in Brewers gear.
Oh yeah, I whenever I go to a Sox game with Sox fan friends, I usually wear like a Blackhawks shirt. I'm like, yeah, we all love the Blackhawks. That's fine.
Yeah, I was like, oh, maybe I'll wear bear stuff. And then I literally had just done laundry and I was like, oh, there's a Blackhawk shirt literally on top. I don't have to fold it and put it away. So
Take
I
it.
just threw it on. And I was like, I will wear a Blackhawks hat to match. And I'll just be Blackhawks guy. But yeah, I've never understood the guys that go to a game and with just a random ass team, like the Brewer guy. Like, why are you wearing a Brewers jersey and a Brewers hat and Brewers shorts? Like, what? Why? They're not playing.
I feel like you see that more than anywhere in hockey. If you go to a minor league hockey game, the mix of jerseys is always so much fun.
Yeah, I'm fine. Whatever minor league team, but like I don't know, pro team. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, there's always
But
a random dude.
my friend and I were dying when we were leaving the game. Like, so I messed up. He's like, oh, I bought tickets. There's 3 seats next to us. If you want to take your family. And my wife and daughter went out of town for the weekend. So it's like, I'll just take a ticket for myself. And I waited too long and the seats were gone. But I got one in the same section, a couple rows in front. And so I'd go back and hang out for a little bit and then go back to my seat. And then when we were all leaving after the walk-off home run, we were standing there talking, and this guy walked by in a full White Sox uniform. He had the pants, he had cleats, he had a jersey. I was like, was this guy expecting to go in and catch if needed be? Like, what is going on here? Like, he had cleats. He
Hmm.
had a mitt. Like,
Going
what
all
is
out.
he had cleats. I was like, I can't do this.
So now you need to step up your game and wear cleats.
No, now I need to go to a Blackhawks game wearing skates.
Sir, those aren't allowed in here. You're setting off the metal detector. I'm coming in skates, damn it.
What if they need me? What if they need a 49-year-old man go out there?
Hey, you could be like Scott Foster, the emergency goaltender.
I know. That is the best part about hockey is just, oh, hey, you need a random emergency goalie. Oh yeah, you can use our Samboni driver.
Yeah, like he's sitting up in the stands eating peanuts. Hey, you're the emergency goalie tonight. We need you to come in.
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll
but
never forget watching that Scott Foster game. One of the greatest things ever.
oh, I know. Good for him.
Dude literally playing beer league and selling insurance by day.
Uh, but the Friday matchup, Matt Boyd did not look good.
Did you see the article I wrote about Matt Boyd?
No, I didn't.
So I looked at the peripherals. That's what I broke down. The peripherals are not good. The strikeouts are down. The home run rate is up. the expected ERA, the expected fielding independent pitching, the fielding independent pitching itself, all way up there. And the main reason is that his fastball, the quality of his fastball has dropped. It's dropped a little bit in velocity, but the execution's not there. It's getting harder. It doesn't have the same shape. It is not being located properly. So to put it in perspective, his fastball was like in the 86th percentile of effectiveness last year per baseball savant. This year it's 17th. And because his fastball dropped off so bad, guess what? What's his other bread and butter pitch? The changeup. If the fastball's not good, the changeup's not going to be as effective. So it's concerning. The trends for Boyd are concerning. He's giving up a lot of home runs, a lot of hard contact. He can still eat some innings, but one of the issues is that he has that really bad inning in a lot of these starts, and it kind of punches you in the mouth. So, I mean, right now, if you're looking at constructing a playoff roster, a few weeks ago, I would have said Boyd is my no doubt number one. I don't even know if he's my number three right now.
I, it's a little scary. I know there's still a decent amount of baseball left.
Yes,
to
there is.
right this ship. And, we've talked about times where like, oh, this guy is doing well for us. And then they shit the bed and guys were like, oh, I don't trust this guy at all. And then a month later, we're like, oh, singing his praises. There's a lot of room left for that. But right now, in August, I'm concerned.
I am too. That's why I wrote about it.
I I think they did Assad a little bit dirty, and I think he's earned every inning he's pitching.
He'll be back. He'll be back.
Um, because he pitched well, and uh and Palencia came back and pitched. Got
Yeah,
two
Palencia
Ks.
looks good. Palencia looks
Yeah.
sharp.
Um, yeah. So I um I mean, is Peterson in your playoff rotation right now?
Right now, at this very moment, kind of feel like he is. He was great the other night again.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not going to say he's my number one, but if if you were to look at a potential 3-game series, I think right now I'd probably go Gosman, Holmes, and Peterson. Right now, this might change in a week, but
Gausman has not looked great either.
no, but you got him for that reason.
Yeah.
Like he is the highest caliber pitcher you have. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
I get what you're saying. Trust me. He wasn't great against the White Sox, and then he had that weird thumb cramp. But you got him for that reason, and he has the resume. He is the of all the current pitchers you have healthy, he is the highest caliber guy. So unless he takes the biggest shit that the shit has ever seen, he's probably going to be in that playoff rotation.
Probably. Probably.
Because I don't think you can really trust Shota in the postseason right now. And I've been one of the defenders of Shota, but we saw how it went last year. You saw what can tend to happen to Shota. I mean, today he wasn't good in Seattle, and you saw Craig Counsell pulled him early.
Yeah. I mean, you might have to rely on Shota in the postseason, but I wonder if you can use him strategically. And I don't want to say bullpen start, but short starts.
You mean like opener or
Either opener or quick trigger. Or plan for him to only pitch, 3 or 4 innings.
I mean, what if Ben Brown comes back? Ben Brown comes back and he's looking good, then you might not have a need for Shota to pitch meaningful innings, at least in a first round. Might change as time goes on if you get that far, but
If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, it'd be Christmas every day.
eh.
I'm not counting on Ben Brown at all. I read an article where they were like, oh, Ben Brown and Justin Steele. And I'm like, I'm not
Steele's
counting
not
on
going to
either.
be in the rotation.
No, but he'd be available to pitch.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm not counting on either one. I'm
Well,
gonna
yeah.
I'm if either one comes and is able to pitch and is meaningful at all in any way, shape, or form, I'm going to consider that gravy.
Gravy.
Mm,
You're just lathering yourself with gravy.
Um, but yeah, today I I was watching scoreboard and I was watching on my phone and I'm like, son of a bitch, this this is starting out shitty. It was 2-0 and I'm like, are they going to get shut out and get swept in against Seattle?
And the Phillies score 6 runs to win. The team right behind us.
Yeah.
In the ninth, down 4-0 with 2 outs. What the fuck?
The Phillies are playing great.
Yep, just when we were starting to slump. But thank goodness, Ian Happ hits the grand slam. Craig Counsell pulls Shota early. Aaron Savali locks it down, and the next thing you know, they win 19-2.
19-2. I was driving home and I was like, all right. It was like, I think 6-2 at that point. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling pretty good. And then it was like 7-2. And I'm like, all right, it is late in the game. I feel confident here. Uh, I'm going to go inside and I'm not going to listen to the rest of this. They'll lock it down. And then I'm like, just to double check that they didn't shit the bed again. I look at the score and I'm like, nah. I literally went to a second source to make sure nobody messed up. 19-2.
A lot of runs scored off a position player, but by the time the position player came in, it was already like 12-2. So,
It
but you had
doesn't
two
matter.
grand slams in the game. You had
You
Ian
know,
Happ with the grand slam and Pedro Ramirez with the grand slam, and then you had home run number 33 for Pete Crow Armstrong.
is he going to make it to 40-40?
I mean, he's on pace to. He can.
Oh, I would love it.
It would be so cool. It would be so cool. He's at 33 homers now. And what? I think it's 32-32 right now. 32 homers, 32 stolen bases.
I mean, there's not very many players in that 40-40 club.
No, it's a rare feat. It
I
doesn't
re-
happen all the time.
I remember the first time it ever happened. Jose Canseco. I remember that vividly. Uh, and then Bonds did it. A-Rod did it. Alfonso Soriano did it, right? With Washington.
I think it was with the Nationals that 1 year in Washington before he signed with the Cubs. He got all that money from that season.
And then you had back-to-back years. Ronald Acuna did it, and then Shohei. I was gonna say Shota. Shohei Otani did it. Um, and
Well,
he was the
obviously.
50. He was a 50-50 club.
Yeah, right. That's even rarer.
He's the only one. He's
Yeah.
literally the only one, and might
Yep.
possibly be the only one ever to do that. And so I'm really rooting for PCA to get that 40-40 club.
Me too.
Um, yeah, so he's got a pretty good chance. 33, he's got 33 home runs and 32 stolen bases.
Yes, 33-32. Yep.
Yeah. So it's um I think the stolen bases probably um man, it's gonna be tough. If he does it, it's gonna be close. But one good game could get him real close to that.
Right, right.
Yeah. So fingers crossed for that.
Hmm.
And then you start a big series here this next couple games.
I hate when they play in Arizona.
Yeah, the late games and
That place
Arizona's
is
good
just
at home.
hell.
Yep. So you got three, and what sucks is you just scored 19 runs. Watch tomorrow they're gonna score 1 run or 0 runs.
Yeah, right.
That's the way it goes.
Yep.
Did
Yep.
Milwaukee do that after they scored 22?
Something like that.
Um, yeah. dun, dun, dun. Looking at the Brew Crew. Um,
They're not
oh no, they
catching
scored.
them.
They scored 5 the next day.
Oh, they did. Okay.
Yeah. Uh, but they scored 22. Um, yeah. So then you get the Reds after that, and like you, ah, the Reds, you can't shit the bed like you did against Seattle. You got to
No,
beat the Reds.
no.
Um, so I'm looking at the standings here. They are 6.5 games behind Milwaukee because Milwaukee just won't stop winning.
Yeah, I think that's a lost cause.
Yeah, I think you're just now just trying to lock up your
Though
wild card spot.
those two walk-off losses in Seattle killed any hope.
I think so. I mean, Milwaukee's got the best record in baseball.
Yeah,
They're unreal.
they're freaking voodoo crap.
I mean, it's
Last in
crazy.
home runs, last in slug, and look what they can do.
The Dodgers are on a 6-game winning streak and they still haven't caught the Brewers.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, the Dodgers don't care. The Dodgers don't care.
the Dodgers are just going to Dodger.
I mean, the Brewers were the number one seed last year. Look what the Dodgers did to them in the NLCS. They annihilated them.
Uh,
But yeah,
but even with the Cubs having a little bit of a skid this week against Seattle, their likelihood of making the postseason is pretty damn high. Uh, they're still 4 games up on the wild card.
well, they were 6 games up on the first spot, and now we're down to 2.
Yeah, they might not. I mean, they might get caught by Philadelphia. I mean, Philadelphia is 9-1 in their last 10, and they're on a 9-game winning streak.
God, the Cardinals, the one time I root for them.
I know, right?
1 out away from winning, we would beat back up to 3.
But I mean, they just got to make the postseason, and they're 6 games up on Arizona, who's the odd man out right now.
Series is big.
Oh, and it's really big. I mean, if you take 2 out of 3 from them, you are almost assuredly in because
Just don't get swept.
uh, I mean, look, Colorado's been out, San Francisco's been out, the Mets have been out, Washington's out, Cincinnati's out, Pittsburgh's out. After this series, St. Louis is out. Miami is dangerously, if they weren't on a 3-game win streak, they might be out too. But Miami is dangerously close to being out as well. It's shaping up to be 4 teams for a 3-team race. And the Cubs are 6 games up on Arizona. So this series is big.
I know it, I do, and I don't even want to think about it.
It is big. And it's crazy. It shouldn't be this close.
I know.
Look at run differential.
I know. The more I look at it, the more it just pisses me off.
They've got a plus 115 run differential. Nobody in the American League has a run differential higher than the Cubs.
The American League West doesn't have a team above 500, and it's freaking late August. Do you know the White Sox are the only non-AL East team to have a winning record? What a fucking joke that is.
I'm not doubting you, but I just double checked and you are correct.
Yeah.
Is the White Sox are the only team in the American League not in the American League East with a winning record.
That's why the Sox could win the pennant this year. Legit. And
I mean, the crazy part is all of their competition in the postseason is in that division, and they're going to beat each other up.
right. So the Sox can legit go to the World Series this year, even with their problems. I'm not saying, I mean, nothing's guaranteed, but I'm just saying there is an opening. There is an opening with the way it goes.
I mean, they're likely going to get a bye.
Yes.
Um, yeah, but the Cubs have a plus 115 run differential, which is usually a good marker of that team performance, and they would be number one in the American League if they were in the AL. In the NL, they are third behind Milwaukee and the Dodgers, who have the two best records in baseball.
Yeah.
They are
Why?
ahead of Atlanta. Um, so you just got to string a few wins here together and lock this up. Philly is playing great. They're a good team, but God, they're gonna falter at some point. You can't keep playing baseball like this.
Oh, obviously. Like the Cubs couldn't do it for a while like they were doing it.
But I don't know when it's gonna happen because their next two series are against Seattle and the Angels.
Hmm.
And then they play Arizona, which that's good for the Cubs. Arizona against Philly is they're not going. I mean, they're the two that are chasing the Cubs. One of them's gonna falter. You can't have a winning streak from both of them.
That's true.
Uh, God, this Philly schedule pretty easy the rest of the
I
season.
know. That's why I'm worried.
Uh, I mean, they get Houston, who's below 500. Got Washington, who's stumbling. They get the Mets, but then they end it with the Brewers and Tampa. So the Cubs got to play. Cubs got to come and play baseball.
Yep.
Well, we'll see how this goes. Should we wrap this up talking about a little White Sox?
Yep.
Um, yeah. So we talked about the Cubs White Sox series, and that White Sox team is scrappy. I mean, you look, and they are like, what are the Cubs, like $100 million more in their payroll, and the White Sox are hanging in there with them, and just a scrappy team. On that third game, uh, the odds had to have been, I didn't look at the betting odds, but they had to be in the Cubs' favor looking at that pitching matchup. And they fought and clawed and had a great pitching performance, and uh, they grind. That team grinds. They make hard contact and they grind.
Yeah, the moment doesn't get too big for them in many situations, and that's why they've won a lot of games.
Yeah. Um, but the pitching does make you nervous. And, right when you're like, okay, I'm a little bit nervous about what's going on there as far as their pitching goes. And then, you go and you have an amazing pitching game today. Uh, until the very end, the Mets just weren't putting the ball in play. A lot of
Hmm.
strikeout. I mean, I know it's the Mets, and the Mets haven't been very good. Um, but you you take 2 out of 3 from the Mets, and you have the great pitching matchup today, or the pitching today. Uh, it was Fetty gave you 4 solid ones. Newcomb started it, and, those 6 innings, and then Fetty had a little bit of trouble there in his last inning and Hagen Smith came in and got strikeouts to end the inning. And I was at that game and watching that live, just all of the wind out of the sails. Um, so yeah, uh, and then the Mets added a little bit of excitement in the ninth, but I mean it was great pitching and watching it. Sam Antonacci had some power. Uh, Vargas with a big hit. Um, Benintendi with a big hit. Uh, Tristan Peters with the big home run to walk it off. And it was crazy. When he came up, like I just heard the chatter in the 125 section. Like I think everybody was just like, no, he's gonna hit a home run right here. It was crazy, like Tristan Peters, and sure shit, there he goes and hits the home run, and the place erupted. They mobbed him at the plate, dumped the Gatorade on him. Like this team, like on paper, they shouldn't be good. They are just feisty, and I love it. I don't know how to explain it. Like they're a fun team to watch, and they just scream like, you know, team of destiny. I'm sure nobody wants to play them in the postseason because whatever's on the paper doesn't matter.
Yeah, small sample size, a lot can happen, good or bad.
Yeah, I mean this is if you want to look at on the paper like, oh, this team like they have no pitching and a lot of strikeouts and a bunch of players playing positions that shouldn't, like, oh, they're not that good. And you put them on the field and it is, you can talk about, oh, they're not as a great defensive team. I watched them. Like they're pretty good. I know their outfielders don't have the wheels, some of the top flight teams, but good arms and just it's they've been solid. They've been solid.
Yep, and every time it looks like they're gonna falter, they find a way.
Yeah. Um yeah, I know Castillo has had a lot of ups and downs and that ERA is climbing, but um yeah, they've got guys that I think they're going to have to be a little bit creative with openers and limited innings, and their manager's got his work cut out for him. But uh, we talk about what the Cubs postseason rotation is going to look like, and I think the White Sox are going to have a wild one too, but they're going to make it work, and they're going to kick somebody's ass in the postseason. And if and when they do lose, it's it's not going to be an easy loss. Somebody's going to have to fight them to the finish.
Yeah, no, they'll put up a good fight no matter what.
Um, yeah.
Did you
Uh,
see the brawl? Apparently, I'm just seeing this now. There's a big fight in the stands.
Today,
Yeah, in the upper
I
deck. There was like a drop kick from the top. Wow.
I didn't see anything. I was at the game.
Where are you sitting exactly?
I was in the 125 section.
So that's grandstand.
Uh, yeah. So I was in the 100 level, and like on the opposing dugout, like I don't know, 20 rows back. That's pretty
Yeah,
good
so
seats.
this must have happened above you because this fight was big.
That's
It
insane.
was like a double roundhouse kick. Yikes.
Is there videos?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I saw there was a lot of Mets fans there.
Was there?
Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
guess New York they travel well.
Oh my God. I'm watching this
Yeah,
fight.
it's
This is what the guy like did a pro wrestling move.
yeah, over concrete and metal plastic seats. Like that guy could legit be charged with something serious.
Yeah, this was way above where I was. I wonder what section this was.
Uh 520, 518
Oh
in
yeah, so
between
this would have
there.
been a way like I wouldn't have seen
Yeah, this is
anything.
way up. This is
Way up,
like
and
nosebleeds.
it was above me. So like there's like the overhang, um, from where I was. So I was like I wasn't under the overhang, but the angle I couldn't have seen anything. So
No,
this
yeah, based
there's
on what
no
you're
way I would have
describing,
even
yeah.
seen this. This is wild. Where's security?
We
I
asked
guess
the
they're
same
in.
thing against in the crosstown fight.
I wonder what started this all. Wow.
Drunkenness, beer, trash talking.
Oh, wait, got more angles.
Good. I'm seeing the zoomed in. Like that is a real jump kick. Wow. Hooligans.
I, I just don't understand. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe I have too much to lose. I have no interest in fighting at a game.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. And you know what the dumbest thing is? Like you saw it in the crosstown fight in the bleachers. People are chucking beers at each other. You're gonna spend $15 on a beer just to throw it at somebody
Yeah,
and then get
that's
kicked out.
dumb. Dumb.
Like how dumb are you?
Dumb. Stupid. Dumb.
Dumb, dum, 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 dum.
Yeah, I don't know. I want yeah. Is this all White Sox fans? I don't see any blue hats.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but clearly somebody wasn't happy with somebody else.
I mean, that guy's got a White Sox hat. White Sox hat. White Sox hat. There's an old lady in security. She's not doing anything. She's trying to grab somebody, and if somebody pushes her, White Sox. This might have been a fight amongst White Sox fans.
Could have been.
This is crazy. I'm watching multiple angles of this. Oh, I can't tell. One guy that got beat up bad, he was wearing a plain white shirt. So I can't tell what he's a
Yeah,
fan of.
who knows what he was, yeah.
Um where's the drop kick guy? The drop
Jeez.
kick guy is definitely a White Sox fan.
Well, yeah, I see the shirt on him. Good grief.
Wait, I'm watching this. Oh, that's a dude. Never mind. He just had boobs. I just saw boobs, and I was like, "Oh my god, did a lady's shirt fall off?" But it was a guy with boobs.
It's just boobs.
It's just guy boobs. Uh, so crazy. I can't believe this. I would have had no idea. None idea.
Well, that's why I asked you. I'm just like, you were at the game. Did you hear about it? Did you see it?
Nope.
I mean,
Nobody mentioned it. I didn't see security go running after the game that wasn't super tense. Um, in fact, like as I was walking out, a giant chant broke out of Green Bay sucks, which I, thoroughly enjoyed. But
heard a lot of
I
that at the Cubs Sox games. It was a moment of unity, or
I
several
mean, I
moments of
saw Mets
unity.
fans jumping in the Green Bay sucks too.
Really?
Yeah, so I was like, okay,
Well, I guess a lot of them are Giants fans, and the Giants and the Packers have met in the playoffs in big moments plenty of times.
and I didn't see any like beef outside. So who knows? Who
I mean,
knows?
it's just a small pocket of yahoos that were just causing problems, obviously.
Yeah. But the White Sox this week, um, they've got the Rangers who are
Meh.
they're but they're close to making the postseason. They're neck and neck with the Astros on
Sub
who's going to win the
500.
toilet bowl.
Blech.
And then you get the Twins who aren't very good,
Oh,
but
they stink.
they're like right there
They're
in your
scrappy. Like,
division.
they're
They're in your division. So you're
yeah.
looking at, I mean, really, they're 5.5 behind you. You can, you can add to that and pile on.
Right.
Detroit, Detroit is now back to where we expected them to be.
Yeah, they've fallen off hard.
And I told you, this is exactly what I expected. Is people are like, oh, they might make the postseason after trading their two best pitchers. No, what happens is when You lose those pitchers. You might get some good performances, but they are slump stoppers. Like you go on a 4 or 5 game losing streak, and then you're okay. Tarek Skubal came in and pitched and got us out of it, and you don't have those guys now. So now what you have is they're 2-8 in their last 10, and they're on a 5 game losing streak.
Yeah, they're. I mean, the Royals beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, and they're not that much ahead of the Royals.
No,
They're 4 games ahead of the Royals. So it's Cleveland is the one that's chasing you, and then they're
not
three and a
that
half
good.
back.
Yeah.
I mean, they're on a heater too.
I mean, they just played the Rockies.
And still, you've got to play the teams on your schedule.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. You're right.
So you've got the the Rangers, who actually are tied with Houston.
Yeah, they're tied with a sub 500 record.
So you're hoping to knock them out, and then beat the Twins and dash any hopes that they have a postseason.
Hmm.
And
Well,
boost
even
yourself.
if you do, they still have hope. I mean, the AL is so bad.
It is. Uh, I, there's a team that's eight. So Detroit is only 3.5 games out of the wild card, and they are 8 games under 500. 8 games out of 500.
Yuck.
You
So
very
bad.
well could have multiple teams with a sub 500 record in the postseason in the American League.
Travesty.
If the season ended right now, you would have 2 teams sub 500 in the postseason. 2.
Yeah, that's. Ugh.
If the first team, I mean, if you're in the National League and you're sub 500, you're basically dead in the water. The American League, you're in the wild card hunt.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. So many letdown teams this year. The Tigers were a letdown team. The Blue Jays are playing better, but they've overall been a letdown team. Seattle's a letdown team.
Oh my God, Seattle is a letdown team.
Yeah.
They
Didn't look that way this weekend, but overall, yes, the big letdown team.
Honestly, they were buoyed by one guy last year. Like, not that they're a bad team, but
It made a huge difference with Cal Raleigh, yes.
Cal Raleigh carried that team to being way better than they are. And Cal Raleigh, like, literally is pooping the bed this season.
Yeah.
How many home runs did he have last year? Like 63?
Yeah, I mean,
He's at 14 right now.
Yep.
With
One
a
of them was up
159.
Matthew Boyd.
I mean, between him and Vladdy, like, 2 guys that just decided to shit the bed this year. There's 30 games left in the season, and Vlad just hit his first home run at home.
That's so weird, man. That's just wild. That is absolutely wild.
Yeah, Vlad has just been bad. I mean, not bad, but he had no power.
Well, when you're considered a superstar player with all that money and you're not hitting that, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, he's got 7 home runs on the season.
That's
7.
brutal. It's brutal.
And he just hit the first one in Toronto. In 2021, he had 48 home runs.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's been like a 6 WAR player. He's at 1.1 right now.
He's got to be like hurt or something, right?
I don't know.
Someone's going on.
2021, he had 48 home runs. He had a over 1,000 OPS. Right now, he's at 7 home runs with a 694 OPS.
That's
His OPS plus in 2021 was 167. This year, it's 92.
it's not even in the same stratosphere as what he normally does.
92. What happened?
That's what I'd love to know.
Let's compare Cal Raleigh this year and last year. Cal Raleigh last year was a 7.2 B WAR. This year he's a negative 0.3.
Oof. Oof.
Last year he had 60 home runs. He's at 14 right now. Last year his slash line was 247, 359, 589 with a 948 OPS and a 168 OPS plus. This year it's at 158, 275, 305 with a 580 OPS and a 68 OPS plus. His OPS plus last year was 100 higher than this year.
Man, that is like he's clearly not. I feel like all the playing that he's done the past few years have just like worn on him or something.
How does that happen like that quickly?
Well, I mean, I think wearing on him has caused some sort of injury or damage or something. It just to drop off that dramatically just doesn't seem right. It's not normal.
Yeah. Yeah, last year he had 14 stolen bases. He's got 2, and he's not really known for his speed, but 147 hits last year, 54 this year. 24 doubles last year, 8 this year. Just unreal.
Yeah.
And then there's PCA.
Yeah, quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. It's been fun to watch.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Me too.
Was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Nope, I've said my piece.
Well, that's going to do it for this episode of Bill Swerski Sports Talk Chicago. I want to thank everybody so much for listening. Please hit subscribe however you listen to podcasts, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Share this podcast with your friends, how we grow the show. Follow us on social media at Swerski Sports, Facebook.com/Swerski Sports, SwerskiSports.com, or Swerski_sports_podcast on Instagram, or ShyFanPat2 for Alex on Twitter/X, or AlexanderJPatCreative.com for all the cool stuff that Alex does. And again, thank you all so much for listening. Until next time, bear down.
Cubs win! What a lucky break! The good Lord wants the Cubs to win!
We thank Ditka and God for all they have provided.
Cubs win! Cubs win! Cubs win!
Oh, I don't want her. You can have her. She's a Packer fan. She can't fit in my van.
And she looks like Remember, New Yorkers, smoking crack is not legal on planes.
Bears 31 to -7.
The Bears. Oh, when the Bears go bearing down